2024 gardening started with me having a lot of plans for a flourishing garden. I remember the feel of soil in my hands as I sowed the seeds in February, the joy of planting each seedling, the daily rhythm of watering, tending to the seedlings, planting them outside in May. All that time, I was dreaming of a vibrant, thriving garden full of life just like the previous years. Until this happened. It is that time of the year when I'm in a more slow and reflective mode. As I was thinking back on 2024 garden, the major highlight, or I would put it as low light, of last year's garden was the slug problem. And I've not made a video about that till now. They even made it to the local newspapers. We'll talk about that in a bit, from which it is clear that I have to make a video about them on my small channel. Here it is. Last year, slugs came in such a huge number that it felt like they were unstoppable. My seedlings were just disappearing before my eyes. Remember, they were a result of months of hard work, starting from February. It was so frustrating, it felt like all my efforts were for nothing. I started to question everything. Was this even worth it? Was gardening just about harvest? Because if it was, I was clearly losing. It was July, and it was hard for me to see my garden so empty. There were days when I just gave up. Slugs weren't just eating my crops, but they were eating at my spirit. But then I realized something. Gardening wasn't about perfection. It wasn't just about the outcome. It shouldn't be. The first step I took to deal with the situation was to understand why this plague of slugs occurred in 2024. Experts say that a mild winter followed by a cool and moist spring have created the ideal conditions for the slugs to thrive. Added to that, low levels of sunshine really affected the performance of vegetable crops. They were the talk of the town, not only among gardeners, but it bothered everyone because they were everywhere around. Some even found their way inside our homes. Understanding that the situation was not under my control and it was bigger than me or my garden honestly consoled me. This was what nature had planned for last year. It was the year of slugs, as some gardeners called it, and the slugs, they were just trying to survive. I have been reading lately about Stoicism, and I was thinking that gardening can be the best way to practice it. If you don't know what Stoicism is, it is an ancient Greek philosophy that emphasizes on the development of self-control, resilience, and rational thinking to achieve inner peace and a fulfilling life. If Stoicism can teach us one thing, it would be this. We have no control over external events or actions of others, but we can control our own thoughts, emotions, and reactions. The plague of slugs that happened last year, or the unfavorable weather, were all external events that we cannot control. But what we can control is how we deal with the situation. I started accepting the fact that I must garden with slugs around. I tried quite a few control mechanisms like beer trap, copper tape, copper nets, slug barriers, keeping the grass around the beds trimmed and clean, hand picking them one by one. I even tried the most inhuman way of putting salt on them, which made them dissolve or burn. I don't know what they felt, but it was hard for me to watch, so that was the only one time I tried it. Some of these methods did not work at all as was promised, but I stuck to the beer traps throughout the season, which helped me control them to some extent in my garden. I can confidently say that I did not use any pellets or chemical methods to control the slugs because that was not the whole point of organic gardening. Eventually, in August, the rain stopped and the sun shined. Weather became more favorable for the garden and unfavorable for the slugs to thrive. It was warm and the slugs slowly disappeared. The garden began to heal. Slowly, it started to come back to life. The climate changes have started to reflect its effect as we clearly see it, and we don't know what is in store next season, but it is only going to be challenging with this unpredictable weather. So if we make gardening just about harvest, we might be in for some disappointment. Instead, let's make it about nurturing life and being a part of something greater. Let's try to find beauty in small moments, the first bloom of a season, hum of a bee, or smell of a freshly turned soil. Even with these challenges, my garden gave me fairly good harvest last year, but that is just a bonus. With mild winters, we got to enjoy the garden a little bit more into the autumn. It shows us that nature has its way of balancing itself out. This year's garden journey taught me resilience, how to accept challenges, and to find joy in the process. As Stoicism suggests, we can adapt to these new challenges by accepting what is not in our control and understanding that it is a part of natural flow of existence. With that thought, we begin 2025 gardening journey ready to face new challenges. If you also had a challenging gardening year like me, then share with me what your biggest challenge was last year. And I hope this video gave you some motivation to begin again. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next. Bye and take care.